youngster. Fans are talking about what happened at the V12 lounge a few nights ago, and the city of Atlanta is buzzing more than ever. Imagine this. As stunning as ever, Tamar Braxton is seen out with her group. And who can be seen with her? Not one aside from Mendeecees, the lifelong spouse of Yandy Smith. Yes, you heard correctly. According to witnesses, the two were a bit too near. As the night was coming to an end, they were sneaking away, talking and laughing. The disturbing aspect is what happened next, as if it wasn't enough to make people's jaws drop. Rumor has it that Tamar didn't simply walk out. She allegedly asked Mendeecees and a few other people to return to her home about 1 a.m. You know how this works now. Supporters are yelling treachery. Collaboration is being whispered by insiders. Yandy too? Reports state that she is not amenable to the folly. She's angry, they claim. Others maintain that she is prepared to intervene and deal with Tamar personally. Is this a typical late-night business meeting gone too far, or has Yandy reached a new breaking point in their marriage? This drama is just beginning, so get some tea. At first, things appeared normal that night at the lounge. The volume of the music was high. The throng was humming with excitement, and the lights were dark. However, as the evening wore on, rumors began to circulate around the space. People saw Mendeecees and Tamar Braxton standing just a bit too close to the VIP area. They appeared to be discussing secrets that no one else should know, based on their strange body language. Each time Tamar bent over to talk, Mendeecees cocked his head, grinning. That was all it took for supporters in the vicinity to begin taking phone recordings. When it comes to celebrity rumors, Atlanta is small, and nothing remains secret for very long. People began taking pictures, texting each other, and muttering that something sensational was about to happen in a matter of minutes. When Tamar finally found her way, she wasn't heading alone toward the exit. She was being followed closely by Mendeecees, who was stroking her shoulder in an unfriendly manner. According to witnesses, he kept looking around as though to make sure no one was looking. In actuality, though, everyone was observing. He even reportedly said, "Let's roll before it gets messy," according to several. Tamar, like a schoolgirl concealing a secret, giggled and covered her lips. The big stunner came next. Insiders claim that instead, Tamar apparently invited him and a few pals to her house as a means to say goodbye. The moment? It was a little after 1 a.m. This quickly became the subject of headline chatter on the streets. It was exacerbated by Tamar's recent experience. She had just mentioned that she woke up from her horrifying accident, in a bloody mess, with a broken nose, knocked out teeth, and still not feeling well. After praying for her recovery, followers abruptly turned their backs on the matter. Given that she was allegedly in such a vulnerable situation, why would she be hosting late-night guests, particularly Yandy's husband? Some believed there must be more to the tale, while others saw it as irresponsible and suspicious. Why was this so covert if it was business? What did Yandy and her family have to deal with if it was personal? The connection between Yandy and Mendeecees has long been a topic of discussion. Since it started in 2006, their love story has seen more upheavals than most couples could withstand. Although the 2015 wedding was meant to usher in a new era, it feels like their door has always been wrapped by scandal. Late-night sightings, dom leaks, and incessant infidelity accusations have all been used to tarnish Mendeecees' reputation. Countless ladies have been reported by fans to have been connected to him. Despite everything, Yandy remained steadfast, guarding her husband like a soldier safeguarding her home. However, a lady was engaged in the murmurs this time, equally as well-known, audacious, and attention-grabbing as Yandy herself. The allegations were more loud than ever since Tamar Braxton is not a name that is commonly used. Yandy didn't take the news lightly, according to those close to her. According to an informant, she was enraged and paced her living room, screaming that Tamar was too smart. "She knows my family is already under attack, and she still chose to play these games," Yandy allegedly stated, her voice wavering between hurt and rage. Reminding her that nothing was confirmed yet, friends attempted to reassure her. However, Yandy has a history of not waiting for evidence. When Mendeecees' name was spoken, she had previously stepped to women, and she has never been afraid to violently protect her turf if necessary. Fans began questioning on social media if Tamar will be the next lady to experience Yandy's fury. In the meantime, Mendeecees didn't appear to mind. He dismissed it as just business, according to a source. He reportedly revealed to a close acquaintance that Tamar had been thinking about casting him in her next video. Undertaking. He supposedly denied the rumors. "We were just talking about the work. That's it," he allegedly added. Business meetings don't often conclude at 1 in the morning after drinks at a lounge, and they most definitely don't entail late-night invitations and whispers. So even if that were the case, people weren't buying the reason. Social media was inundated with comments from fans such as, "Yandy better keep an eye on her man," and "If it's just business, why hide it?" The rumors further intensified as additional eyewitness reports emerged. It has been abnormally silent in Tamar's camp. Tamar usually responds quickly when the blogs get out of control, but this time she has remained silent. Some people think it has to do with her health. Some believe it's because she doesn't want to add gasoline to a fire that's already burning. However, the discussion has continued despite the hush. Hashtags such as Yandy Tamar and Tamaran Mendeecees began to gain popularity on Twitter. With captions like "Pick your fighter," fans sent memes, presents, and even side-by-side photos of Tamar and Yandy. People were unable to quit picking sides in what turned out to be the newest showbiz feud. While some maintained that Tamar was free to do as she pleased because she was single, others maintained that she had gone too far by hosting another woman's husband. Yandy's previous drama reappeared online, further escalating the situation. Resurfaced were clips from Love and Hip Hop in which Mendeecees acknowledged that he considered divorce on a regular basis. Fans retrieved video. The story swiftly turned into one of a poisonous relationship that could finally be ending when Yandy admitted to having an emotional bond outside of the marriage. "They've been dragging this out for years, but maybe this is the breaking point," a supporter said. "Yandy always defends him, but how long can she keep doing this when the other woman is Tamar Braxton?" another person said. The possibility of Tamar's involvement added a new level of controversy because it wasn't simply another unidentified lady. It was a fellow celebrity with her own drama, fan following, and history of making news. When people began to speculate about tomorrow's accident, it was the most unnerving. Conspiracy theorists even went so far as to speculate that the occurrence may not have been random. Rumor circulated that perhaps Tamar was receiving a warning from the cosmos, or possibly someone closer. Though it may sound dramatic, hypotheses abound in the realm of celebrity rumors. Some even said Yandy may have been involved, although there was no proof to back up this theory. Nevertheless, the concept alone fueled the flames and gave the drama a more sinister turn. According to insiders, Yandy has told close pals that she won't just sit back and watch if the reports are confirmed. "I will not let another woman embarrass me and my family. Not this time," is what one individual purportedly reported her saying. Rhetoric that has supporters certain that a fight may be imminent. Predictions ranging from furious disagreements to full-fledged altercations are already being made about what may occur if Tamar and Yandy met paths. Atlanta seems to be waiting for the next explosion, and tensions are high. Atlanta's entertainment industry sprang off like wildfire as the rumors circulated. The blogs weren't the only thing anymore. Radio programs began discussing if this was a fabricated narrative or if Tamar had truly gone too far. At 1 in the a.m., the presenter even declared, "Listen, Tamar Braxton knows better than to be seen with Mendeecees. I am the president of the United States if it is a business meeting." Despite the audience's outbursts of laughing, the tone was grave. More people than ever were picking sides, and for the first time, Tamar's name was associated with Yandy in a way that no one had anticipated. Tamar's supporters contended that she had no justification for pursuing Yandy's spouse. They cited her professional background, her family's history, and her mental health issues, stating that she wouldn't jeopardize all of it for a complicated entanglement. Others, however, weren't persuaded. The time of the late hour, the confidentiality, and the silence from it was all too suspicious. Tamar's camp. "Love Tamar, but come on now, she wouldn't have put herself in that situation if she didn't want this mess," one fan said on Twitter. Another fan retaliated, "Don't hold Tamar responsible for her public appearances. Mendeecees is to blame for his constant shadiness. Every fresh viewpoint seems to exacerbate the already polarized online community." Yandy's pals said behind the scenes that she was really enraged. One source said that she spent hours isolating herself in her bedroom and only spoke to her closest confidants. "I've dealt with this man embarrassing me for years, but tomorrow, oh no, she's not about to humiliate me too," she reportedly said at one point. According to The Insider, her tone wasn't solely dejected. It was acerbic, almost vindictive. According to reports, her friends urged her to maintain her composure, cautioning that any hasty decision may degenerate into public mayhem. However, it appeared from Yandy's prior actions that she was erratic in her marriage. Mendeecees, meanwhile, was seen in an Atlanta gym looking as cool as ever while sharing exercise videos on his account as like nothing had occurred. Fans were just irritated by that casual attitude. "How are you showing off your strength when your marriage is in ruins?" one reader said. Another person commented, "The calm ones are always the guilty ones. He's too relaxed for someone who's innocent." Everyone examined every aspect of the grin while listening to the music in the background of his video. Even the simplest gestures may be magnified on social media, and in this instance, it led to more charges that he didn't give a damn about Yandy's sentiments. Interest was nevertheless piqued by Tamar's silence. Days went by with neither she nor her team issuing a direct statement. Some bloggers speculated that she could be keeping silent because of her injury, while others said her attorneys had told her not to spread the stories. Nevertheless, the silence left a void, and admirers filled it with their own retellings of the tale. "When Tamar is quiet, you know something is up," one well-known YouTube commenter stated. Her audience nodded in accord, and opinions ranging from "it's just business" to "she and Mendeecees cases are suspicious" were poured into the comments. She loves to correct the record, but the fact that she hasn't said a thing, Chili, is suspicious. More than companions. When an old acquaintance phoned Yandy late at night with new rumors, the friend said she had heard from a promoter who was at the V12 lounge that Tamar wasn't shy about it, which apparently made Yandy furious. According to the acquaintance, Yandy said, "So she wants people to see her with my husband now?" She was holding his arm, laughing, and letting people see them together. Is she brave or simply stupid? It was claimed that Yandy's energy was totally changed by that one phone conversation. Family members close to Yandy also started to voice their fears, and she stopped sobbing and began planning, determined not to let Tamar leave untouched if the suspicions turned out to be true. Reminding her that her kids were observing, she allegedly sat her down and said, "You can't keep letting these scandals define your marriage." According to reports, her mother stated, "You must determine if you want to remain and fight, or to go with honor." Yandy was hurt by those remarks, but rather than making her feel better, they made her even more frustrated. "I am fighting, but I'm not fighting for nothing," she reportedly said to her mother. "I'm working to prevent this kind of disrespect from women in the future." When a video clip appeared online, the stress increased even further. Nothing untoward was captured on tape, but the proximity was evident despite the blurry footage, which was recorded from a phone across the lounge and seemed to show Tamar and Mendeecees walking side by side, their heads close together, talking. Within hours, the video garnered millions of views because blogs shared it with titles like "business meeting" or "late night date." Tamar's supporters quickly defended her, claiming the video showed no evidence. However, for Yandy's followers, it was sufficient proof to convict Tamar. As the discussion heated up, more celebrities began to weigh in. One reality star said in a mysterious tweet from Atlanta that, "I told y'all some of these marriages are not what they seem. The truth is now coming to light after people have been snooping." Fans instantly connected the statement to Tamar and Mendeecees, even though the celebrity didn't name them. "Business doesn't happen at 1 a.m., another former member of the Love I and Hip Hop cast posted on Instagram. You are all aware of this. In the midst of all of this, Tamar was seen leaving a doctor's office with her face half covered. Their remarks simply served to intensify the narrative, transforming it from a rumor to a full-fledged scandal that the whole business was monitoring. She was surrounded by paparazzi who shouted questions about Mendeecees, but she remained mute and hurried to her car without saying anything, which only made the news more dramatic. According to one tabloid, Tamar won't rule out meeting up with Bowie, Yandy's husband, late at night. Another asserted, however, that Braxton was concealing her face following the affair. At home, Yandy was allegedly becoming restless, but whether on purpose or not, her silence became part of the story, portraying her as either guilty or too overwhelmed to deal with the problem. Look at how close they are, according to a close colleague. She watched the lounge footage again, examining each frame as if it were evidence in court, accused her buddy of saying, "That's not business, intimacy is that." She seemed resigned and bitter, as if she had finally come to terms with the potentiality that the reports were accurate, but rather than shedding tears, she was fortifying herself for what seemed like an inevitable confrontation. According to Mendeecees' friends, he was one of them reportedly expressed his frustration at the story, stating, "He swears it's nothing." He claims that individuals exaggerated what he was saying regarding a project. However, even those pals acknowledged that the optics were poor. We bluntly asked him, "Why are you leaving a club with another lady at 1 in the morning? That's the situation you placed yourself in. Whether it's innocent or not doesn't matter." According to reports, Mendeecees' actual self just shrugged and remarked, "People will believe what they want. That is beyond my control." His friends were concerned by Yandy's lack of urgency since they knew he wouldn't tolerate the scenario. As the days stretched into weeks, the rumor intensified into a maelstrom that overshadowed Yandy's efforts and Tamar's recuperation. Supporters started tagging both women in postings, calling on them to speak up. Some pleaded with Tamar to cleanse her record, while others insisted that Yandy finally leave Mendeecees. It had evolved from mere rumors to a public discussion about respect, marriage, and fidelity. The city and the internet were restless, and the question lingered in the air. Would Yandy confront Tamar directly, or would she continue to support Mendeecees as she always had? Fans were waiting for the next big revelation. Every podcast was dissecting possibilities, and every gossip website had the story pinned at the top. Insiders soon started speculating that Yandy and Tamar would meet at a charity event in Atlanta, and as soon as the rumors spread, the excitement exploded. "Forget the charity event," one blogger said, while others started treating it like a heavyweight boxing fight, expecting explosions if the two ladies found themselves in the same room. This drama is going to be pay-per-view. People were drawn in by the build-up alone, but the tension was palpable behind the scenes. According to one acquaintance, Yandy spent days emotionally preparing herself, practicing what she would say to Tamar if she had the opportunity while standing in front of her mirror. She reportedly rehearsed, her voice trembling with rage. "You knew he was my husband, and you knew the rumors were already tearing us apart," as friends attempted to tell her that nothing had been verified. However, Yandy's heart was uninterested in proof. Perception was reality to her, and perception shouted treachery. Tamar, however, was claimed to be worn out. She was still recovering from her injury, dealing with discomfort and the burden of unfavorable attention. Her team suggested that she skip the event, but Tamar, being Tamar, refused to. She allegedly informed her boss, "I'm not hiding for nobody," and allowed rumors to dictate her actions. "They'll think I'm guilty if I don't show up. Let them see how proud I am." Although she seemed confident, insiders said she was anxious behind closed doors because she knew the cameras would be watching. The atmosphere was exciting on the night of the event, with photographers lining up outside, admirers hovering at the door, and bloggers streaming live reports on Yandy's behavior. She knew that Yandy wouldn't remain silent forever. Social media. The audience gasped as Tamar arrived in a stylish black gown, her face fully exposed for the first time since the paparazzi had spotted her in the doctor's office. Some shouting, some jeering, but everyone's gaze was fixed on her. A few minutes later, Yandy showed up, looking just as beautiful, her face inscrutable and icy. The room, which had been humming with light chat, suddenly felt like a stage for a battle, and the two ladies first avoided each other. As the evening wore on, tension increased, and cameras captured the precise moment when Tamar mixed with her group, faking smiles, while Yandy remained near her pals, drinking and observing from a distance. When their eyes locked across the room, the expressions spoke more than words could, and Yandy clenched her teeth, her patience running thin, while Tamar swiftly glanced away, seeming to chuckle at something. Witnesses reported that when both ladies were leaving at the same time, a confrontation ultimately broke out outside the exit, and according to some reports, Yandy walked straight into Tamar's path and stated, "We need to talk." Tamar was surprised. yet calm. "There's nothing to talk about," he allegedly responded. Although their conversation was brief, there was no denying the intensity of their voices. Supporters in the vicinity claimed to have heard, "Yandy snap, Tamar, don't toy with me. You are fully aware of what you are doing." Refusing to let up, Tamar said, "I'm just living my life." The altercation ended without any physical contact, but the verbal abuse was enough to light up the internet. "You better check your man, not me." The film was blurry and full of background noise, but the words were clear enough to establish the animosity. And within hours it was trending on all platforms after someone shared audio from the heated moment. The gap between their followers widened as fans analyzed every moment, with some congratulating Yandy for taking on Tamar head-on and others praising Tamar for keeping her ground. Suddenly, the story was about more than simply adultery. Whispers. It had turned into a fight between two strong women whose reputations were at stake. The effect was instantaneous, and timelines were inundated with hashtags like CheerTeam and ChemTeam Yandandy. A R&B musician tweeted a story that said, "Sometimes you got to call out disrespect face-to-face," which many saw as support for Yandy. Celebrities started picking sides and making subtle hints about their allegiances. "Women need to stop tearing each other apart over men," a well-known actress tweeted, which many took to be a defense of Tamar. Every fresh remark appeared to intensify the drama, and the business was in a frenzy. Strangely enough, Mendeecees said nothing. He continued to publish his typical stuff, seemingly oblivious to the drama, while the ladies sparred in public. Called him out repeatedly, asking that he clarify the situation, but he never did so directly. Some fans speculated that his silence was a tactic, while others said it was a sign of arrogance. One fan said, "He's letting these ladies go to battle while he looks on as if it doesn't concern him. Horrible." Another replied, "The quiet says a lot. Men who are guilty tend to hide when the heat is on." His exclusion from the story only made matters worse, forcing Yandy and Tamar to rely on conjecture. However, the altercation at the charity function was not the end. Rumors circulated in the days that followed that Yandy was thinking about filing a slander lawsuit. Insiders suggested that Tamar's team was negotiating when she was getting ready to provide her side of the story in a controlled interview.